We're back on the air. We're radio entrepreneurs, and my name is Jeffrey Davis, and we are continuing to talk to entrepreneur after entrepreneur. Our next guest, returning guest, is Greg Creamer of Harris Williams and Company, Director of New Business Development, right?
That's correct.
What's going on at Harris Williams?
Well, I was on a couple years ago, and again, Harris Williams is an M&A advisory firm, mergers and acquisitions. It's been a
It should be a big year.
particularly big year. We had a record year in 2014, great backlog, and a lot of that is just driven by the fact that the market is so red hot right now. There's so much capital chasing the deals out in the marketplace, which is driving up valuations and in turn causing more people to look to sell their businesses.
Right. So tell us, what type of businesses you representing the business, or you representing the buyer or the seller?
We are sell-side advisors, which means that we will go out for a seller of a business and find a new buyer for that business. About 2/3 of our clients are private equity groups, which are in that business, of course. And then about 25% of our businesses are private or family-held businesses. And then lastly, we'll do some corporate divestitures or corporate carve-outs.
And what are there particular categories you prefer to work in?
Sure. Well, we have over 200 bankers at Harris Williams. Boston is the second largest office, but we're headquartered in Richmond. We have six offices domestically and 2 overseas, and we have 11 different industry groups. So they'll range anywhere from, call it, consumer products and transportation to industrials, business services, healthcare, technology, et cetera.
Wow. Why is the market so hot?
Yeah, great question.
It seems like it's funny. It seems like the easy one when you think of it.
Yeah, the trillion-dollar question, I guess. It's really driven by a few different factors. I mean, if you look on one side of the coin, there are strategic buyers out there that are anxious to make acquisitions. So they're looking to grow, number one, and number two, they're looking for ways to deploy their capital. And it's amazing. If you look at just the S&P 500, there is 1.4 trillion in cash on the balance sheets of those 500 companies, and that's not counting all the other public companies, all the other private companies. So,
or the individuals who have benefited.
Absolutely. So there's
there's cash out there.
Huge amount of strategic cash, and then
and you didn't count foreign companies.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And there's a lot of foreign money flowing in.
It's amazing.
America's a safe place for money.
Absolutely. And then the other side of the coin, of course, is private equity or financial investors. And right now there is about $535 billion in uninvested private equity capital that will need to be invested over the next several years. And so those two pools of capital, coupled with the fact that banks are aggressively looking to lend and grow their portfolios, that all feeds into this kindling into this fire that's the M&A market right now.
Okay. Is that all the reasons?
Well, listen, and of course, as valuations increase, so we've talked about really the demand side and so much demand for businesses, but as valuations increase, and we're approaching a point, we're close to an all-time high in valuations right now, then owners of businesses are increasingly saying, hey, maybe this is a great time to take my company to market. And so as a result, we're seeing a lot of interest from private company owners thinking, hey, maybe this is the time to sell, particularly as they start to age and think about an exit or a retirement plan. And then the other point, too, is we've talked a little bit about private equity, but there are over 3,500 companies within the private equity community that have been owned for over 5 years. And of course, private equity funds are in the business of buying and selling companies, and typically their hold period can be anywhere called 3 to 7 years. So at a 5-year mark, a lot of them are looking, saying maybe it's time to sell, and it's a great time in the market in terms of valuations. And so as a result, it's really feeding the frenzy.